como, girl, what? No sé, yo tengo la mente medio...
Oh, but
Me da
oh,
pánico
ay,
escénico.
Maciel, el perro está el personaje
¡Vale!
principal. Ay,
¡Vale!
Bestie, Vander. So it's finally happening. I am so excited, so happy because it's September and that means that fall is finally arriving. I have been waiting for this season basically since last fall because I'm sorry, this is the best time of the year. I don't want to hear it. I'm right, you're wrong. I have been working on my list of things I want to do this fall, things I want to read, of things I want to paint, everything. And I am so excited that we're finally gonna get to start doing it. And last night was officially when it began for me. So last night I went to my first ballet show. That was beautiful. I went to watch La Sylphide yesterday, and that is now probably my new inspiration for a while because I am gonna make it my personality just like I do with everything else that I love. I had never watched anything live like that. Maybe when I was little for school, I went and watched a play, but as an adult, I never went to a show in a theater like a ballet, a dance, a a play, anything of my choosing. And I just decided one day, like, I would love to try some new things. So I bought the tickets for this show, not knowing what it was about. Like, I actually read about La Sylphide after I bought the tickets, just because it doesn't matter what it was about. I wanted to watch the show anyway, so we got it first. And basically, the story is about the Scotsman that is about to get married, and then stuff happening between him and his girl. He meets La Sylphide, which is like a fairy in a sense. Let me actually look it up. I am not sure what exactly Sylphide was. She looked like a fairy. She had wings. What is a Sylphide? Oh, this is it. A young sylph. Okay, but what is a sylph? Oh, okay. So it's basically that. It's like some sort of elemental creature. It says the elemental being of air, usually female, a slender, graceful woman or girl. It was amazing. It was beautiful. The background, the props, it was like magic, like literal magic. I am now obsessed. I don't think I can ever go back to watching movies and TV shows. It's all live plays from now on because the magic of theater has officially gotten to me. And as I was watching, there were so many moments that in my mind I almost capture like a picture, like, okay, I need to paint this. So I will be making a couple paintings of La Sylphide. So before that, I kind of wanted to study the story a little more because even though I watched the ballet, I was still left with a couple questions of the plot and maybe stuff that I didn't really understand. So I want to get all the background information right before I work on paintings, but I feel like I already know exactly what I want to do. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. And since I'm talking about stories and obviously about the fall, I also want to talk a little bit about my TBR for the fall. So I was planning with my friend Maciel, aka Bookish Drummer. Oh! We have a couple books, probably just like one actually, that we want to body read. So I decided, like, you know what, let me just plan my whole TBR because I love planning. Even if I don't go through with the list, I love planning. And I have it right here actually in my little journal that I love to show off because she's beautiful. For September, I am gonna finish what I'm currently reading, and that is Lady Killers by Tori Telfer. And I've mentioned it before, but it's a book about female serial killers. It's the story of a bunch of different women. Each chapter is a different woman. Um, Obviously, terrible women, but ladies worth knowing nonetheless, because a lot of their stories are misinterpreted or they were misrepresented in media. Some of them were just not taken seriously, even though they committed terrible crimes because they were women. Something I found really interesting while reading the book, it's that apparently it's more common for women that were killers to kill with poison, and because it was sort of more of a quiet, less dramatic death. Basically, the media didn't consider it interesting. It's like, well, yeah, there's a woman killing tens and tens of people with poison, but why not cover the one guy that murdered one person with a knife? You know what I mean? So that was pretty interesting that the media was basically just sensationalizing these murders and picking which ones are worth knowing based on how fun and interesting it was, which is messed up, but it's how it is. But yeah, it's pretty interesting story. Obviously we're not romanticizing serial killers, but I think it is interesting the point of view of the author when it comes to telling us these stories, because it's not only about just telling us like what happened, but also the reason why their stories were distorted or why they committed these crimes. And most of the cases, it is actually not what most people assume. When it comes to women, they would always think it's something related to being emotional, hormonal, romantic, but it's different, it's deeper than that, and I thought that was a really interesting read. But I am almost done with it. It's just a little more left. Probably today I will just sit down and finish it. And yeah, it's been a good time. After I'm done with that, I'm gonna do a reread, because good things are meant to be done many times over and over again. That's how I live my life. Every good TV show, I've rewatched it. I always rewatch it. Gossip Girl is my favorite show ever, and I have watched it probably once every year since, I don't know, like 4 years ago. Every fall time. So actually, it's almost Gossip Girl season in this house. Every fall, I need to go back and start it over because it just brings me comfort. I need to rewatch thing, and honestly, I have only reread one book, and that was Flamenca. I wanted to reread it with my friend. And after that, I realized, like, hey, I watch every movie, every show multiple times. Why not reread my favorite books? So I decided to start rereading the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And here's the second one. I removed the sleeves because I love the hardcover um, for Barnes and Noble. I love it. And the third one is actually coming out really soon, now in October. So, also, I am gonna be doing something really fun that I don't know want to talk about yet, just because I want to wait until it's like closer coming up before I talk about it. But I'm super excited. Faltame el respeto una vez más. So, uh, I'm gonna be doing something really fun related to the book. I don't want to mention it yet, but it has got something to do with this book series, with the author, and I am so freaking excited. Like, you have no idea. So, I decided that I wanted to reread the series before the third one comes out, just so I have it really fresh in my mind. And I'm also buddy reading it with another one of my friends because I'm trying to introduce her to this fantasy world, because everybody should be in the fantasy world. Thank you very much. So I thought this was a really good one to start with because it's an easy read. It's not full of overwhelming detail. It's beautiful. The descriptions of the scenes and the things and the people, it's so well done. It's so easy to imagine. Like sometimes I get really overwhelmed when a story has too much detail on how things look, when they have a lot of crazy names to memorize, a bunch of different places to remember. This story got nothing of that. It's such a fun, easy, but interesting read. And oh my god, the moments so full of moments that just make you want to scream. And I thought it was a great read for somebody that wants to start fantasy. So if you're looking to start fantasy, I recommend the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Also happens to be my favorite fantasy series, so yes, I am biased, but read it anyways. So next I have a book that I picked up because I have been collecting the Penguin classics just because I think they're really nice, and they're usually longer books, the ones that I bought. But I found a really small one, a really short one, and I'm gonna be completely honest. That's why I picked it up at first. Like I didn't even see the title. I just saw, oh, there's a short classic. Because I had just been reading Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, and that's a long book. I'm not even done with it. Like I'm taking a little bit of a break. I don't even want to call it a break because I feel like every time I take a break, it becomes indefinite. So it's more like an intermission, and in between, I've been reading a couple other books, just like taking a little break so that when I come back to it, I am a little rested because there is a lot, a lot to read in that book. But it's good, it's interesting. It's just I am now in the middle of Raskolnikov's ramblings and insanity, which is it's a lot of insanity. So yeah, I was really into the Russian classics. That's why I started to read that Dostoevsky book. And I really also wanted to read Tolstoy. Um, I want to read Anna Karenina. I want to read a lot of books, a lot of the Russian classics. But most of them are really long. And I struggle with longer books because even if I'm enjoying the story a lot, I just I can't. I need this little dose of dopamine, serotonin, I don't know, one of the two, where I get little rewards all the time. So a long book that has really long chapters, I'm gonna struggle. Like I could read 1,000 pages when chapters are like really short because I feel like I'm accomplishing something every time I finish a chapter, but it's hard out here. So I decided to pick this book. It's What is Art by Leo Tolstoy. So it's still one of the Russian classics, but this one, I don't know what it is about really because I have never even heard of it before I bought it, but based on what I read on the back, it seems to be similar to Letters to a Young Poet in the sense that it seems to be kind of like the kind of books you want to read if you're a creative person and you're looking for inspiration. And I'm very excited for that because I think that's perfect timing now. Because here's the thing, I love an aesthetic, I love a theme, I love doing things based on the vibe. I feel like I just said a lot of words and nothing at all. I think that this time of the year, the fall vibes are perfect to get into that academia mindset. Even though I try to stay in it all year, it's always nice when you get that time of the year that kind of like feels like a reboot where you can just recharge those batteries and maybe the excitement that has cooled down a little bit comes back on. And that's what I've been trying to do. I've been organizing my books that I want to read, but also some that I want to study, not just read. I've been preparing some classes online for my art, and what I mean by classes is basically just a bunch of YouTube videos that I think are very good that I can learn from and kind of making a program for myself. So it's gonna be a fun time, and I thought I should read this one too just to revive that creative fire, and then also to continue that dark academia vibes, If We Were Villains, because this one this is one of the dark academia classics, and it is criminal that at this point I still have not read it. um, I do not know a lot about it because even though I hear a lot of people love it, I have been trying to avoid any form of spoilers, anything that could be a little too much information, because I wanted to go in with knowing as little as possible. Because I feel like in this case, like with these dark academia slash crime stories, the least you know, the better. And the one thing is that, and I could be totally wrong because this is only based um on my perception of what I think it's about. It seems like it's gonna be a similar vibe to what's it called? To The Secret History. Again, don't roast me. I might be wrong. I have no idea. This is just based on what I'm assuming. This is an assumption. So by the end of the book, I'll tell you what it actually is. But yeah, I've been really excited about it because since I read um I forgot again. Since I read The Secret History, I've been wanting to find something similar. Not necessarily the same plot, the same vibe, but just something that gives me the same feeling that I felt while reading that. So I'm hoping this will be the one. Still in that academia aesthetic, I want to read Sirens and Muses by Antonia Engris. This is another one that I bought a while ago and I have not read yet. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just absolutely forgot I own this book. I was so obsessed with it. Like, look at that cover to the point that I wanted it to be like a display on my bookshelf, and like I didn't have the space for it, so I just shoved it in with the rest of the books, and I just forgot that I had it there since last year. So we have to fix that like right now. It's a story about this prestigious academia for artists where they're competing for between each other. There's competition, there's tension, there's everything. So yeah, again, not don't know a lot about it because I try not to spoil a lot about it, but for what I know, this probably is gonna be one of my favorites when it comes to the academia genre. So, lastly, of the books that I want to read, it's Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. Fawcett? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, this one is one that I am so in love with because of the cover. Yeah. The last time that I read what was supposed to be a cozy fantasy, I ended up falling in love in an insane way to the point that I am planning to reread it at some point. Not right now because I do have an extensive list and I do want to reread a couple more books that I will tell you about in a minute. But this one, for my assumption, I am gonna say that it's giving me the same vibes as um, Have a Soul. And if you remember that video that I was talking about it, I started that book with too much expectations. I kept hearing people talk about how good it was, how it was the perfect cozy story, and the first 50 pages did not grab my attention. And because I had such high expectations, I immediately dropped it. Like, I had to restart it again a couple months after the first time I picked it up, and then I ended up loving it so much. But I'm trying this time to avoid that and just go in zero expectations, zero idea, zero anything, and just let it surprise me because I get disappointed really easily. So let's not do that again. So yeah, that is what I've got for today. I just wanted to share my list because I am so excited about the fall. I have so many plans for this fall and I am going to share with you literally all of them. Yesterday I couldn't share a lot of it because you were not allowed to record at the ballet at the show, but just know that that will be my new inspiration for a while. I will be making stuff based on last feed for who knows how long. Expect it, be excited for it, and I hope that you will like it. But yeah, I will talk to you a little bit more later about all the other plans. This week I'm gonna be making another vlog where I am preparing for one of the ones that's coming up. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you have a great week and I will be seeing you again soon because I am planning to make another video for this week because I need to make up for these slow uploading that I've been doing lately. I had a lot of technical difficulties with my clips. This video I've actually recorded 3 times already. I was about to lose my sanity, probably already lost it. I don't know. All I know is that I am trying and I will continue to try. But yeah. So, see you next time.